Hey, what's up, fellas? Marco here. And today, this is pretty dated because this device actually came out sometime last year. I don't know why I just discovered it recently. Maybe because a good buddy of mine, Joff, over at Prime Vapors here in Las Piñas, was nice enough to let me try his, and here I am with one of mine. So there you go. It is the Magma by Paradigm. Okay, the folks over at Paradigm put this out a year back. The initial inception was in stainless steel, and here we have it with a Cerakote finish. So it's black. This is the black edition. Pricing and all that shit's gonna be discussed in the description box. So I did not build this to chase clouds today. Okay, we have a 1.5 ohm build. I am firing it at 4.97 volts. Okay, so don't ask me to compute for that. You guys can get your own calculators for that shit. And here we go. I'm not going to talk so much about how it chucks the vapor and all that, but we're going to take it apart later on, okay? Solid rush, I gotta say. All right, so I'm gonna take it off the mod now and take it apart and shit and show you what it looks like on the inside. All right, so this is the Magma taken apart. All right, there you go. So this is the deck itself. All right, it uses two poles situated in the center, which fasten down using flathead screws. Not your traditional flatheads, but you use a flathead to pry them out. So that's basically it. I have it on a single coil because on these two-pronged ATIs, I cannot build them dual coil to save my life or my mother's. Okay, so you notice that the ventilation is pretty situated differently as we might be used to. So they're situated on the bottom right here and on either side. Now you control it using this little bit right here, the airflow control ring. So it is selective. You can have it with with a single air hole ventilating it like that, and the other side is blocked off. Or if you have a dual coil setup, you can have it ventilated on both sides, obviously. Okay, it uses your standard 510 connection right here, and everything else inside is stainless steel. Now, when you take a hit, when you take a pull on your atomizer as you vape, the air is channeled through the actual hole that you're using right here. So this is what it looks like. You can imagine the air going in right through that hole there, and comes up right underneath your coil over here. To be perfectly frank, given that this device had been out for quite a bit, I was honestly surprised at the flavor retention that this thing grants, and the whole atomizer actually factors into that. You notice it has an extremely deep juice well, so I don't have any problem with leaks. The reason why I have juice all over is because I took the whole goddamn thing apart. So basically, that's it. I haven't had that much of an issue with leaks, provided that I vape it constantly. If you were to use this sort of like a reservoir and fill it up, then expect that you're going to have problems, which is actually one of the more prominent cons that I'm going to be discussing later on. So I was watching a video by Rip Trippers, and he gave a pretty sensible tip. If you're going to be vaping on this with a single coil, the best way to go about it, instead of vaping it with the air hole facing up, is to vape it with the air hole down, so your coil facing downwards, versus how you would traditionally vape it with it facing up for better airflow. Why is that? Well, Rip points out that it allows the wick to siphon in the juice a lot more efficiently, and I have to agree. The flavor retention is a lot more prominent when you vape it that way. However, I did not notice a prominent drop in the actual vapor or flavor retention when I vape it with the air hole up. So it's all a matter of preference, the way I see it. Not to disparage Rip's tip, because I actually find myself following that on occasion. And basically, that's the interior for you. It has this little thing here. I'm not sure if it's plastic or Delrin. I'm assuming it's Delrin because plastic would melt. anyway, that little piece right there that separates the two. So when you have your when you have a dual coil set up, each of these basins right here, I wouldn't even call it a well because it's so goddamn deep, but that's where most of the juice gets stored, and as you take your hits, it siphons up into your wicking agent, regardless of whether you use cotton or a silica wick. I haven't tried it with stainless steel mesh, honestly, because I don't see the point. But that with whatever wicking medium you're using, it's going to siphon pretty good, right there through the canals that we have here. The top cap is part of the factor as to why the flavor retention is pretty prominent. It is a domed interior. I don't know if the camera can capture it because it's all black, but the interior is domed, so it gives that nice rounded air circulation inside. Well, at least that's the sensation I get when I vape it that way. Generally, I try to veer away from trying to chase clouds with this atomizer, not because it cannot, but because I like how the flavor is just compressed inside, and you get a nice, beautiful hit with the nicotine delivery and the flavor retention all there. So I'm a big fan of that. So far, all the drip tips I've used, I'm using an Intense right now. I've tried a Vicious Ant Chaplin. I've tried a Cherry Vape. I've tried an Atmos, one of those thermo tips. What else have I tried? I've tried pretty much everything I have in my room, and that's basically, yeah, it fits just fine because the distance between the cap and the poles is pretty far. I mean, even with the Intense, which is pretty long, I'm not getting it bumping on anything. I'm not getting any obstructions when it comes to the pulls I'm taking. The major gripe that I have about it is that it leaks on occasion. It's not a prominent leaking problem that I have, but it does leak. I'm not quite sure what's causing it because I never overfill it. I usually go about 7-8 drops, and I believe this has been advertised to hold upwards of 20 or more. I don't remember how they put it before. But given the depth of the basin, it is obviously designed to hold a lot of juice, but of course it is, at the end of the day, still a dripper. So if you want massive retention in it, get a tank, right? If you don't want it leaking on you, don't overfill it. It's that simple. I do find it to be annoying at times. Yes, I have to admit, it does get to me. But as long as you don't overdo it, you don't over drip. There's even such a term. I mean, if you don't put too much liquid into it, just remember that at the end of the day, this is a dripper and it's not a tank. Okay, so no matter how much juice it can hold, it is still a dripper. So use it like one. I guess that's where most of the complaints would come from. I remember what put me off before, now it comes to me. What put me off before from getting one of these babies is that a lot of people were saying that they had leak issues with it. And I figured it might have been a user problem or something. And well, I've proven that to be right. For the most part, as long as you use it properly, you're not supposed to experience anything like that. When I take this to the office, I probably have only had it leak on one day out of, say, 2 weeks at the office. So I'm not even going to bother rating it or anything like that. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. This is one of the few atomizers that I actually had to shell out for, which I really don't mind, honestly. In terms of flavor retention, nicotine delivery, and all that jazz, it definitely delivers. If you want to chase clouds on it, I've tried. It can still chuck it. I'm not able to show you right now because that would mean I'd have to rebuild. But it can. It is competent in the vapor output department. I mean, even at 1.5 ohm, you can see it. It still gives you a substantial amount of vapor. Still looks pretty and all that. But I wouldn't say that it is designed exclusively for either flavor or vapor. But given how it performs in the flavor department, honestly, I am surprised. So I'd prefer to keep it that way. I'd like to use it more for the nicotine delivery and the flavor retention, just so I can swap my flavors out. Because if you've been watching my videos, you know I'm a tank guy. I'm more of a bottom-fed tank guy. So that in itself is a big testament to the Magma in the sense that I'm getting substantial throat hit, substantial flavor retention, a decent, respectable amount of vapor output. I'm not having any issues with that. So overall, that's it. The Cerakote finish version comes out at 3,500 Philippine pesos, and I believe they knocked the stainless steel one down to 3,300. they have a bit of a contest going on right now. You can check out the Paradigm page. I'll probably link to it in the video description and all that. Other inquiries, you may have to PM the Paradigm people. So Ali and Floor would be able to help you out with that. Okay, so the last bit that I forgot to point out was the size of the air holes. They have it in 1 millimeter, 2, and 3. You can have it in single and in dual with each air hole on opposite side. So that's pretty much it for the Magma. In terms of aesthetics, it's pretty big for me, but I don't mind because I have it on 650 mods anyway, so the size sort of compensates for that. So that's pretty much it. I will catch you all soon, hopefully. Thank God I don't have to wear that goddamn neck brace anymore. And yeah, I'm going to be keeping this hair for quite a bit, so get used to it. Alright, so yeah, there you go. I'm going to catch you all soon, alright? Thank you, and you all be a part. Cheers.